The Perfect Discourse, or Asclepius, is a Hermetic text that was written between 100 and 300 CE. It is, along with the Corpus Hermeticum, one of the most well-known and appreciated of the religio-philosophical Hermetica. The work deals with a number of different topics, but in particular it attempts to convey the idea of the ultimate oneness of the world with God, wherein man is a link between the two. It is also famous for its pertinent prophecy regarding the future of Egypt. We continue with a simplified abridgment of the text. God has brought you here, Asclepius, for a divine sermon surpassing all others in piety and inspiration. If you understand this word, your mind will be filled with goodness. I dedicate this treatise to you, Asclepius. Bring only Ammon, for we do not want a large audience. It is impious to share divine knowledge with the crowd. Every soul is the same and deathless, differing only in nature and time. All is one is all, and God is the creator of the all. Always remember that in this discussion, God is the one all, and the maker of everything. All things come from heaven to earth, water and air. Fire gives life by moving upward, while what moves downward serves fire. What comes from above begets, what rises up nourishes. Earth receives and restores everything, remaining self-contained. The whole, encompassing all in nature as soul and world, is constantly changing with countless distinct qualities, yet unified as one, and from one to all. The cosmos is formed by the four elements, fire, water, earth, and air. It is one with one soul, for God is one. Heaven, governed by God, directs all bodies, while the sun and moon govern their growth and decline. From all that God governs there flows a stream of diverse things through the cosmos and soul. The cosmos is a receptacle for these things, created by God to please him. All things from above have distinct species within their respective genera. The genus of gods produces divine species. Similarly, the genera of daemons, humans, birds, and all animals generate species like themselves. There's also another genus, the soul-like class of rooted beings on earth, experiencing joy or suffering based on their conditions. While all genera are immortal, not all species are. The divine species are immortal, but humans are mortal, while mankind is immortal. Bodies are shaped by God's will, while species are influenced by daemons. Daemons linked to a godlike species are considered godlike themselves, while those staying within their own class are proper daemons. Similarly, humans who are content with their own class are similar to the species they belong to. By embracing godlike piety and connecting their minds with the divine, humans draw nearer to the gods. Man is a wondrous creature, with a divine part surpassing his human nature. His blend of humanity and divinity makes him superior. Man occupies a blessed position, possessing reason bestowed from the ether, enabling him to understand divine reason. Not all possess true reason, and the pursuit of its counterfeit leads to deception and bestial behavior. Man is twofold, with a divine form and a cosmic body. The divine part, housing the mind and its senses, resides within the physical body. Why is man placed in the world instead of dwelling in the presence of God? This question will be answered, as everything depends on God's will and the reason or logos underlying our discussion. God, the Creator, made a second being, the visible and sensible, out of his own divinity. This being, though not necessarily having sensation, became the object of perception. God fell in love with this creation, seeing it as a reflection of his goodness. God desired someone to contemplate the creation, and so he made man in his image. God, cosmos, and man form a divine composition. God is the creator and ruler of the cosmos, while man cares for and adorns the compound of himself and the cosmos. Man is an image of God, just as the cosmos is. Man knows himself and the world utilizing what is useful. He reverences God's image, aware that he himself is the second image of God. Man's divine part allows him to ascend to heaven, while his mortal part keeps him grounded on earth. He is both deathless and subject to death in his dual nature. The chief capacity of man is piety, perfected by despising desires for worldly possessions. Man can despise not only what he longs for, but also the source of longing, including his own body. Man investigates and judges the qualities of things, but is limited by the weight of the body. By properly maintaining and adoring the world, man joins his work with God's will. The reward for such devotion is to be blessed and reunited with the divine nature after death. Our prayer is that God's love restores you to your pure and holy nature, freed from earthly constraints when your time of service is complete. Those who live piously for God and the world will receive the prize of immortality. However, those who live impiously risk losing hope of immortality and may be reincarnated into unworthy bodies. Only a few will possess the love of wisdom and the true understanding of divinity. Pure philosophy, rooted in godly piety, incorporates other sciences like arithmetic, music, and geometry. It appreciates the celestial movements, Earth's dimensions, and the elements, giving worship to God's art and mind. True music is understanding the divine order of all things, which are aligned with God's reason or logos. The harmonious arrangement of all elements creates the sweetest and truest harmony with God's song. The cosmos is the sum of creative potential, providing fertile conditions for all births. It embodies the productive nature of matter, giving rise to both good and bad. God could have eradicated evil, but it is a necessary part of the world. However, God endowed humans with intelligence to overcome it. Our ability to avoid evil sets us apart from animals. By turning away from it, guided by divine intelligence, we embody virtue. The spherical cosmos cannot fully see itself. Its forms give the illusion of visibility, but it remains invisible to itself. The bottom of the sphere, if it exists, is called ar-ides, or unseen. The forms that cannot be seen are called idei. They are the sources of all things within them. All things contain the cosmic principles of their species as the essence within them. Cosmos nourishes bodies, spirit feeds souls, and the higher sense enlightens the mind. The mind of man is illuminated like the world by the sun, but with even greater clarity. The blending of the higher sense and the soul brings harmony, freeing the mind from darkness. Gods are classified as either noumenal or sensible. Our senses perceive the noumenal gods more truly, while the sensible gods affect all things through their sensibility. These hierarchies of gods are interconnected. Mortal and sensible things are bound together. From the highest Lord, all things depend on one, matter, and the divine will. God, the Father and Lord, transcends all names. The name of God encompasses sense, spirit, air, and all things. It cannot be limited to a single name. All things should bear his name, or he should be called by all names. He alone, complete in both sexes, gives birth according to his will. His will is the goodness of all things, ensuring their existence and self-generation. In the sacred act of union, males and females exchange their nature. This sweet and necessary mystery occurs in secret to protect its sanctity from ignorance and impiety. Ignorance breeds vices, but not for those who possess wisdom and seek the intellectual cure. God created humans from a mixture of cosmic and divine elements, leaving imperfections in our nature. But man, distinguished by reason and discipline, can overcome vices and strive for immortality. Only a few have pious minds, so we won't dwell on the wicked. Let us focus on the relationship between gods and humans. Humans are creators of the gods in temples, who both receive and emit light. The gods crafted by humans are a blend of divine and mortal elements, reflecting our own nature. We create gods resembling ourselves, just as our Father made immortal gods in his likeness. Do you know, Asclepius, that Egypt is a reflection of heaven, the embodiment of heavenly governance? Soon, Egypt's service to the divine will seem in vain, and its sacred practices will be disregarded. Foreigners will fill the land, suppressing our piety and imposing penalties on our worship. The holiest land of shrines and temples will be overrun with tombs and corpses. Egypt's pious tales will become unbelievable even to its own people. The godly company will return to heaven, leaving Egypt deserted and forsaken. I speak to you, O sacred river. You will overflow with bloody torrents, and the number of tombs will surpass the living. Egyptians will become strangers in their own land, their actions foreign. Do not weep, Asclepius. But Egypt, once beloved by God for its pious service, shall suffer greater woes. It will become a barbaric example, and our admiration for the world will fade. People will despise and reject the cosmos, the glorious creation of God. Darkness will prevail over light, and death will be preferred over life. Heaven will be ignored, the pious considered mad, and the impious hailed as wise. Matters of the soul, its immortality, and the pursuit of deathlessness will be ridiculed and condemned. Devotion to the religion of the mind will be punished with death. Sacredness and piety will be disregarded, casting doubt on the heavens and gods. The departure of the gods will bring forth chaos. Evil forces will torment humanity, leading to recklessness, wars, and deceit. The world will unravel with no unity among earth, sea, and heaven. The silence will reign, crops will wither, and the air will become lifeless. Yet when impiety and disorder prevail, God will intervene to restore the world, cleansing it through floods, fire, or disease. The renewed cosmos will be worshipped, and God praised for his restoration. This rebirth is the renewal of all good things, aligning with the timeless nature of God's will, which has no beginning or end. Will is the offspring of God's nature, and through his will all good things are desired, thought, and willed. Cosmos bestows all things we mortals consider good, seasons, fruits, birth, growth, maturity, and more. Space beyond the starry heaven is devoid of material existence. The dispensator, Zeus above, rules the space between heaven and earth, while Zeus below governs the earth and sea, nurturing life and vegetation. The powers of all gods manifest in the growth of fruits, trees, and the earth. They who rule the earth will gather at the top of Egypt's upper part, establishing a new community toward the setting sun, where the mortal race will converge. Let us now discuss the question of death and immortality. The fear of death torments many who lack true reason. Death occurs when the body, exhausted and unable to sustain life, undergoes dissolution. It is the end of the body's functions and sensory experience. When the soul leaves the body, its judgment and fate lie in the hands of its highest daemon. If found righteous, it rests in appropriate places. If tainted with evil, it is torn between heaven and earth, enduring perpetual suffering and burdened by its unending awareness. Those who doubt now will believe later as they experience punishment firsthand. Our Lord, the Sire of all, reveals himself to everyone through the intelligence of the mind, not by status or possessions. By embracing truth and dispelling error, one merges with divine intelligence and gains assurance of future immortality. The good differ from the bad by their piety, sanctity, wisdom, worship, and service to God. They perceive true reason and surpass others in belief, like the sun's light outshining stars. The sun, as a second God, illuminates and governs all living beings in the ever-living cosmos. In the eternal life, cosmos moves, bound by the everlastingness of life. It is the giver of life and the space that governs all beneath the sun. Its motion is fueled by both external eternity and its internal vivifying energy. Order and time bring renewal through alternation. Nothing in heaven or on earth is stable or fixed except for God, who is complete and perfect in himself. He alone is immovable and unaffected by external forces or space. God encompasses all spaces and remains immovable. His motion is not in eternity, but is rather the source of immovable eternity. All times find their origin in and return to this eternal state. God and eternity are unchanging, with cosmos as the sensible image of the divine. Time, despite perpetual motion, reverts to itself for stability. Although eternity is motionless, its interaction with time creates the appearance of movement. Both eternity's stability and time's mobility are intertwined, and God is moved within himself through transcendent motion. The transcendent and incomprehensible nature of God defies understanding. He is upheld by supreme stability within himself, whether he represents God, eternity, or both. Eternity surpasses time, though both are eternal and boundless. The divine sense is holy and eternal, while the human sense retains memory and enables rulership. Nature's intelligence is perceived through the cosmic sense. The quality of eternity is discerned through the senses, but the true essence of God remains beyond them. The intellect extends to understand the quality of the cosmic sense, while the cosmos itself reaches towards the eternity and the knowledge of higher gods. Our perception of celestial matters is limited, but will expand with self-awareness. Now on the subject of a void, nothing is void in the cosmos. It is filled with diverse bodies of different sizes and strengths, some more easily perceived than others. The notion of void spaces is impossible, and even if something appears empty, it will still contain spirit and air. Space is defined by that which it contains. We should speak of the space of water, fire, or similar things. Space itself is not meaningful without dimensions. The intelligible cosmos, perceived by the mind, is bodiless and cannot be mixed with corporeal qualities, quantities, or numbers. The sensible cosmos holds all sensible things, but they cannot exist without God. Only God alone comprehends his own goodness, fitness, wisdom, and unchangeability. Every living class, whether mortal or rational, has its own distinct images within its class. Even within the same class, individuals differ from each other. No two forms are exactly alike, due to the different moments and positions in the cosmic cycle, and species persistently produce diverse images as the cosmos undergoes constant revolution. However, the divine idea is formless and grasped only by the mind. The idea itself remains unchanged, while forms within each genus are dissimilar. The cosmos consists of all things born. Even heavenly bodies undergo changes in species. Earth, air, and fire undergo numerous changes in species, reflecting the images of celestial bodies like mirrors. Let's return to man and reason, the divine gift that makes him a rational animal. What is truly marvelous is man's ability to understand and worship the nature of the gods. Our ancestors, lacking rational faith in the gods, invented their own deities and infused them with cosmic power. They attached these daimonic souls to sacred images, granting them the ability to bring good or harm. Isis, the spouse of Osiris, bestows blessings when appeased, but can cause harm when angry. Egyptians worship sacred animals, and each state follows the laws and names of their revered souls. This leads to conflicts among Egyptian states. Terrene gods are embodied in plants, stones, and spices, carrying their divine essence. They enjoy sacrifices, hymns, and heavenly melodies. Heavenly nature infused into images allows gods to coexist joyfully with humans for long periods. Thus, man becomes the creator of gods. Terrene gods' actions are not random. While heavenly gods dwell in the heights, our gods serve as allies and friends to humans, attending to specific matters, foretelling through oracles, and providing assistance. Fate, also known as Haimamene, is the binding necessity of all that is born. It is the effector, highest god, or divine discipline governing all in heaven and earth. Fate and necessity are inseparably linked. Fate initiates all beginnings, while necessity determines their ends. Order follows, woven into their fabric, ensuring the completion of all things. Cosmos finds perfection in the harmonious embrace of order. These three, fate, necessity, and order, are governed by God's will, which upholds the cosmos with his law and reason. Their actions align with God's eternal purpose and are unaffected by human desires or emotions. Fate initiates the creation, necessity compels their fulfillment, and order preserves the harmony established by fate and necessity. The eternal cycle of time brings continuous change as celestial bodies rise and set. Their revolutions are interconnected, with no clear beginning or end. Good and bad outcomes are intertwined in the cosmic order. And with this, we have shared the knowledge permitted by God. Let us now express gratitude, return to worldly concerns, and reflect on the profound wisdom we have gained. Hermes and Asclepius faced south and began praying to God as the sun sets, following the same direction at sunrise. They express gratitude to God for his grace and the knowledge they have received. They praise his holy name and recognize his divine attributes and the gifts he bestows upon humanity. They rejoice in experiencing God's divine power and consecration, seeking to know his majesty and acknowledging him as the source of life and universal nature. They sought to remain devoted to knowing God and living a life aligned with his goodness, hoping to never lose connection with this spiritual existence. I hope you enjoyed listening to this summary of the Perfect Discourse, or Asclepius. If you still want more, you can find a video tackling the Corpus Hermeticum in the description below. You can also find out how you can help to support the channel and allow us to continue making adaptations like this one. I sincerely thank you for your aid or your attention, and I hope to see you again in a future video.